Now, it wasn't pretty, but God, it was exciting. Yet another win for Ireland in this Autumn Nations series. And I thought you were going to score.
Ask a better question, you get a better answer.
Hi guys, welcome back. It was a tense win for Ireland, 13-10 against Australia. Goodness me, let's get into the game. Plenty to talk about. And to start with, Australia are looking pretty good first 5 minutes, and it looks like Nick White is over. They're going left and right quite quickly on their phases, creates just a tiny bit of a gap. White super sharp, and it looks like he's in. But no, there's a marginal net grab, saves Ireland. That was a bit fortunate. And the net grabs keep coming back in the game. That's definitely something for you to pop comments on about why that is. A little note about Tyg Byrne. Just love this guy. He is more of a flanker than a second row in a positive way. Just gives him so much extra ruck power. But again, the rucks were super messy in this game. The ref was really sharp on that. Now, I don't know kind of who's at fault here. Was the ref blowing too much? Were the other sides not adapting enough? But both sides really struggled to get clean ball at ruck time. Now, 6 minutes in, I make an observation that Ireland are trying to secure the ruck very well. They're trying to send in their clearing guys very quickly. And the moment they just get slightly blocked, Hooper's over the top of it, illustrating the point. Hooper was a real menace today. He definitely revelled in mucking up some of Ireland's ruck ball. And then, as if to illustrate this point, Australia try and jackal again, but do get pinged this time. So it's 3-0 to Ireland. A little bit messy, but Ireland are off and running. Now, just a note at this point, some early positive signs, I thought, for Crowley. They really need Crowley to be a good option at 10. Sexton's, his age could be a problem. Carberry's got a bad injury profile. And Crowley had a really good game here. Loads of experience in a tough, tense game. He was looking quite sharp, so that's a good positive there. Now, it's nearly 20 minutes in. It's not free-flowing, but I'm actually really into this game. It's really exciting. Proper test match. Evenly matched, and it looked for all money in the world it was going to be 3-0. I actually wrote it in my notes, but a really bad miss from Foley. That was pretty costly. Now, just a little note at this point, the giant Australian winger, Narakwana Tuazi, is an absolute beast. Can we just call him Big Mark? That would be quite useful. He could be a star in the future, and he really was a pain to Ireland all game, but they managed to contain him. It was a big defensive effort from Ireland, denying Australia. That's starting to frustrate Australia, and the game did boil over at some points. But Australia are their own worst enemies. It's that net grab again, despite the penalties, despite the warnings. Faiingar gets a yellow card. That was a big blow as well. And it's Ireland's first opportunity to score 3 points for ages. They don't take it. I'm not sure about that in this tight game. They go for the corner, but Sheehan's short and someone's in touch, so it's actually 3-0 at half-time. A moral victory for Ireland, to be honest, because they were defending for a lot of that half. Australian frustration definitely growing. Now, at the beginning of the second half, of course, Ireland are a man up, so they want to take advantage of that. Great steal from Hooper again at the ruck. Goodness me, he is a pain. But then a bit of a weird moment. We've seen it before. Due to injuries in the front row and sin bins now, we have to go to uncontested scrums, and because it was Australia's fault, you would say, to go to uncontested scrums, the new rule is they have to lose another player. So actually Ireland have a period where they've got 13 players to play against, then 14 again, and they really need to score. And it looks like they've worked Hansen down the right, but he is hammered into touch. Some big tackles. He flings it back in, but he is just in touch. So you don't quite capitalise Ireland there. What an opportunity. And it's amazing to think the score is only still 3-0, considering the amount of ball-in-hand attack from both sides. They're not overly kicking it, but 3-0 is crazy. Okay, now just a little note about head clashes and upright tackles. Good case in point here. Valentini gets pinged for one. Only a penalty this time because he's kind of going backwards. It's not dangerous. But, it's going to happen. You're going to get red and yellow cards if players deliberately decide to stand bolt upright, which he did. He had time to dip and tackle properly, you would say, but players are being coached to stand up. And if players are being coached to stand up, it is the influence of rugby league, to be honest. It's not their fault. That's just what they do. You're going to get these head clashes. You're going to get red and yellow cards, and people are going to complain about too many cards. And you've got this kind of game of chicken going on where the refs are trying to penalise coaches out of doing it, and coaches are refusing to do it, and they're getting players to stand up. I'd love to know your thoughts on that one. It's just a really weird game of chicken going on, and at the moment, coaches are holding out to their stand-up tackles. Anyway, get back into the game. On 50 minutes, it's been 10 minutes, all Ireland in attack, but Australia this time are hanging on. Obviously, they've been down a man. It's a tense game. As with all these games in this Irish series, they're not pretty, but goodness me, they're tense. But then finally Australia get on the board as Ireland start to rack up a few penalties. So it's 3-3. goodness me, it's tight. And Australia start to feel this tension and they're starting to kick the corners a bit more now. I put that note on 60 minutes. Then it feels like the moment. Ireland have a great line out. Doris hammers round the back an absolute million miles an hour. Pick and goes. They feed Aki one out and he barges over. He's on as a sub. What a great impact. So finally, a bit of quality that Ireland put together. I guess good things come to those who wait. Well, could be a good plug for the Guinness Pint Predictor game. Get involved if you haven't already, because there are still some games happening next week. Anyway, try 10-3. Could that be the match winner? And we've waited about 65 minutes, but the game has finally burst into life. Massive Will Skelton is on as well. A couple of huge rumbles. It takes so many men to pull him down. Offloads, etc. He kind of single-handedly creates an overlap and really sharp passing, but tired dummies and flies over. That's a good try at last, and a nice conversion from Foley, maybe to make up with his bad miss early. So it's 10-all, anyone's game, goodness me. And then we get a scrum penalty, and it's a long way out for Ireland. Rossburn is on, they decide to go for goal, and goodness me, he nails it. Fantastic stuff. But there's still time, there's still 5 minutes, and Ireland get pinged for not rolling away at the ruck, and it's a tricky angle. Do Australia go for goal with a draw? Well, that's not their style. They go to the corner, 5 metre line out. Ireland make a real mess of them all. Big play. Still got to repel one more attack, but they do. Goodness me, it was tense. 13-10. I feel like Ireland have been desperately searching for flow and shape in this whole series. Probably trying too hard, probably overplaying, but they're winning. And to be honest, I think Irish fans might be quite pleased by this, because in the past, they get worried about peaking too early, about looking good too early. So actually winning scrappy, learning a few lessons now might be quite good. Winning ugly going into a World Cup, tell me what you think. Anyway, pop all the comments about that game below, and I'll catch you next time.